Good morning, everyone. My name is Dan. I'm recording this UI interface video for my friends Dan, DC I should say, and then my buddy Jeff, just to kind of go over the basics of this game so that way they can see everything and hopefully answer some questions for them. And for the purpose of this one, I'm not really going to follow the guidelines, so I am going to cheat here a little bit, give myself everything I need to kind of go through everything. And that way, if you have any questions, it's not normally like this, but you know, and that way we can kind of get everything out there, and if you have questions, we can get them answered. So this is your basic UI interface. All of those things that I did will only work in a single player game, so if you're playing multiplayer, all of that stuff won't help you. But that being said, we've got all of our basics here, so we're going to go through it real fast to kind of give you guys the overview and go from there. And if you are playing this game and this works, hopefully that's something that helps you out. So we'll start here in the top and go across with everything we have, then we'll do the bottom, and then some of the basic maneuvers. So up here you have first your government key. That's if you wanted to get it, it's F1 is the hotkey. There's a couple different tabs here. First it shows you who your ruler is. Mine in this case is Queen Riley, my dog. She's got a couple of different governing ethics. You pick these before you start the game. The civics are things you also pick before you start the game. They give you randomly assigned traits for your ruler. So there's that. This is the government type I have. I have an oligarchy on this one. And it also tells you your piracy risk. This is based on, so let me do this real fast. How many unexplored or explored star systems are near you that are not colonized by you. So if you are the type of person who jumps around from star system to star system to star system, and you leave some holes, those will increase your piracy risk depending on how many of them are near you. So like if you colonize this one, for example, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'll increase your piracy risk fairly significantly. The less you have next to you, whether it's from other empires or from you having them all colonized, the lower that risk goes. So that's kind of how that goes. We won't really get into reforming the government because we don't really need to. So we'll leave that be for now. Next tab down is our budget. So it shows you how much you're making here in cold hard energy credit, or cash as they are in this game. It also tells you how much you're expending. So your ships, your stations, your buildings, your star bases, all of those things cost cash each time. And then there's the balance, much like it. And these are the effects that you have in place. So these are things that you've been able to gain or you've been able to lose, and what they will cost you. And then lastly, you have your demographics tab. So this one, it shows you, hey, this is all of the stuff that your species has, your world preference as you pick beforehand, what you do, how quick they are, etc., etc. And at the bottom of all this, it has all of the output benefits that you've selected. So the next tab over is our contacts tab. As you can see, we have no one. So we haven't met anyone yet. As you meet them, they kind of stack up here. It'll tell you how they feel about you, whether you're comparative in power, if they're in a federation, if they're at war. All of that information is there for you. It does also include primitives and fallen empires. Primitives being non-space race things. You can lift them up. We'll possibly get to that in a different video, but not in this one. And then fallen empires being massively, massively way ahead of us in technology. But once you get to a point where you can actually compete with them in technology, then you can attack them. I would not recommend it until you're well ahead, because their fleet strength is somewhere in the neighborhood of 45,000. As you can see, ours right now is 114. So it takes a long time before we're able to deal with that. So that is the contacts tab. The situation log, they actually broke this down into multiple little tabs in the bottom here, but every time your explorer, which is the science ship, goes to a new place and they say, situation log, found something. So for example, I'll send that guy, like, let's say he goes to survey here, and when he's in there, he finds something, an item, a unknown whatever. It'll pop that right here into the situation log. So those entries will be in here. This is for longer term projects like planet exploration and finding the old ones and all of these sort of things. And then you also have the anomalies, which are the things that are talking about. You find an anomaly, an item, whatever in there that you explore. They stack them up there too. Also shows you your victory conditions. So the victory, you can dominate by owning 40% of the habitable planets. You can conquest, you can subjugate all or conquer all the other empires. Or federation, having your federation control 60% of all the habitable planets. You don't actually have to habitate them, but you just have to have them in your empire. So there's that. Next one over is our technology key, or our technology, excuse me, not key, but technology research tab. Excuse me, I was blanking on the word there. As you can see, these are our researchers. This guy, they all have abilities, and they also have levels. So you can see that guy's skill level 1 of 5, or this woman, I should say, Vibring Den Rotherog. She actually just has that she's going to gain experience more quickly. It's not really all that beneficial for a researcher. Normally you won't have this stack of cash to use to get more research. But, you know, you can see that she's got biology. Like, again, these aren't things that really help you. So you do want to try to, when you get through this, you have these leaders. You only can hold 10 at your beginning. Like my sector governor, that guy's useless. He's recruitment crossed. That doesn't matter. He doesn't really give you any benefit. So when you have the ability to get them, so like that guy again, these guys are all useless because all they have is, hey, they cost cheaper. It's like, I don't need that, right? It might be nice in the beginning when you have no money, but again, you want guys that actually have benefits for you, and none of these guys do. So like this guy, building cost minus 10%, building speed plus 10%. That's an actual benefit. It's tangible. It actually helps you in the long run. So that's a guy you can take and install as your governor. There is another one that I'm, like that one does, food plus 10%, farm cost minus 20. Those are things that actually help you in the long run. The other thing you have to worry about is how old they are. And that's normally where you'll see like, hey, these guys live till 80 or these guys live till 50. It just depends on which, what you do when you're selecting race. As you can see, that you can go through a lot of these and not get anything good. So you kind of want to see, but we'll just say for the time being, like, let's say that that's the guy that I want, is this guy, Governor of Brigden Suber. He's now going to, I'll show you where to install him. But these guys are also not that good. See, like this guy, this is my scientist. He is currently commanding this ship. Every time you build a science ship, you do need to recruit a scientist to go ahead and man it. He'll be your leader for it. So you can see we actually have some people who may be helpful. These guys actually have survey speed. That's a good thing to have for a scientist, for one who's going to be on the ship. So you want to recruit those. You want those in your, so when you build more science ships, which you'll want to do, you'll have these leaders who actually give you some benefit of being on the science ship. So when you build a science ship, you can see it will say, oh, no leader assigned. You put that guy in there. Now, when he goes and does this, he'll have a little boost of 25% increased survey speed. That's a nice benefit to have in the long run. So we'll go back through those leaders again, see if we can find anybody else. This guy's not bad. He gives you an additional anomaly chance. So we'll go through and see, like, these guys have field, different areas of expertise. And the reason I'm going through all these is I'm looking for somebody who, I'll show you the most beneficial one of all of them. I don't need you, don't need you. So, most beneficial one of all of them. Of course, now I'm not going to get it that I started talking about it. That one's not that great. Alright. Running out of money here. See, they're giving me a lot of these guys. They're nice. And you'll notice that I'm keeping those guys. Like, these guys, anomaly discovery chance isn't anything special. What I'm looking for are these, maniacal, because those increase research speed by 5%. And this one is the best one of all of them. The Spark of Genius increases research speed by 10%. So you see now I already spent all of my energy. So again, I'm just going to give myself a little boost here just for the exploration of this video. Now, going back to our research tab, you'll notice that I got rid of some of the scientists here. You will lose them over time to death anyway. It's inevitable. But we have our researcher here. This is one is maniacal. So we'll assign a researcher. can do that by just clicking on here and assigning. Now we have the 3 researchers. Again, this guy gives you the best benefit to research because he gives you 10% increased research speed. What you can see over here is this. The going across the top here, I know we kind of just started over here, but if you go over here, you have your research. Okay? This is the basic numbers that start to commit to everything. They automatically give you 5. That's the base everything. So you start at 5, but you also have your home planet, which is in here. Mine is called Foxia. On the surface of it, you can see there are some stuff in here that have actually been colonized. Right here is what I'm talking about. That's your basic science lab. It automatically gives you 2, 1, and 1. So that would make my 5 into 7, 6, and 6. And then on my home base, I believe, we have this gas giant here, which has engineering research. I thought that was the right one anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. No, there is one in here somewhere. So where is it? I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. It was hiding behind it. Gondoria, as you can see, has engineering research. I'm collecting it. That's what this little research station is doing. So that gives me an additional 2 to engineering. So now when I'm looking at my guys, here it'll say plus 22. So you can see the base is 7.2. That's the 7 that's coming from the top up here. But I'm also getting his Spark of Genius, that I'm a fanatic materialist. All of these things increase it. So instead of getting 7.2, which is what I should be getting, I'm actually getting 8.78. So there's a little increase because of the abilities of the character. So when you select research, it'll say, you know, like, let's say we wanted to do energy storage. That's fine. When you select it, it'll tell you how many months it's remaining, and that's based off the number you collect. Now, as we increase this, you'll actually get increases to your total collection. So we'll go through. At the beginning, you want to take ones that are smaller in total. So you can see these ones, they need 500 points to collect it. That way it'll go quicker. So you can see as like on these ones, let's say I wanted to do Corvette hull points, just as an example. Now that one's 106 months because it's a longer collection. So if I chose, say, the mineral storage capacity or geothermal fracking, that one instead will take me 53 months. So that's kind of where the research plays into. You'll pick them, and as they come up, there'll be a little pop-up up here that'll pop down and say research finished, and it'll have this little thing. And then you'll click on it, and you can then select your next research. Increasing your researches allows you to increase the amount of research you're doing, which in turn speeds up the research, lets you get more technology quicker. The last box here, the last tab, is your drop-downs. There are a lot of things in here. So you can see you have planets and sectors. That one is when you have multiple planets. You can see you have a limit here. This is the number of systems I can colonize, 3 right now. Let's say I have 4. Can't do that. Now it's going to tell you, you need to create a sector. You can create up to 2 sectors. When you do that, we'll get you some more information on that down the line. But when you do that, it allows those sectors not to be under your control, but still give you influence. You can kind of tell the sectors, hey, this is what I want you to focus on, but you can't control them directly. So that's kind of where planets and sectors come in. Policy and edicts is the next one. These will actually impact you on how you do things when you meet new races going forward. So you can see here, for example, if I'm going over past it here, I have my energy, my minerals, my food, influence, and unity, and I will get to more information about those. But some of these things, in fact, for example, food stockpiling is at minimal, which means that I'm only going to collect 200, and after that, we don't want to do it. I like to switch that one to large. And the reason being that when I'm collecting food, if I go over it, hey, great, it'll still keep collecting. It won't stop at 200. Not that 200 is really something that you're going to run out of, but you never know. So it kind of helps you build that thing. So you can see other things in here, for example. You've got war philosophy, unrestricted. The species that I built happens to be very warring, so I don't want to change that. But you do have options like liberation wars or defensive wars, you know. It's one of those things where you will impact how other races perceive you, but again, I'm not really worried about it. You have 2 options with your bombing. You can go selective, which is a little bit less damaging to the planet, but also does less damage to the enemies that are on it. And then indiscriminate, which does more damage, but also messes up the stuff that's on there. Resettlement allows or does not allow population to move between planets. First contact protocol, whether are you aggressive when you face them? Are you peaceful when you meet them? Again, this will impact you when you meet new planets. Border status, when you meet, are they open, or are you allowing them to come into your borders, or are you going to say, no, 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 you don't want to do that? Core worlds, who do you want on your core worlds? Do you want citizens? Do you want citizen slaves? Do you want all of the people? Right now in mine, slavery is prohibited, but that being said, refugees, you get to choose that. You know, what do you want on there? And then purging, which is the last one, you actually do need certain things in order to allow purging. But like for mine, for example, you can either prohibit, so we cannot get rid of of other races, or you can displace them, like get them off our world. So those are the options. Underneath it, you actually have edicts. So these ones, you can see we have our influence. Influence is a vastly important thing, mostly because it grows so slowly. But for example, let's say I wanted to spend some on mapping the stars. It's 100 influence cost. So I click on this box, and what that'll do is for the next 11 years, I will get survey speed and anomaly discovery chance, which will help me in the long run. So those are two things that you want. But it's also influence, because it only grows at 3 a turn. And I think the most I've ever had at a turn is like 7. It's very hard to replace. So this is a very expensive thing. So like you could do 10% faster research, but it costs you 200 influence. So it's very expensive. But again, we'll click on it just because we've got that. We cheated and gave ourselves a bunch just for the purpose of this video. So we'll click on it, whatever, and that way it'll show you kind of what it's doing here is now when I click on our research tab, instead of 22, now he's at 32. So now he's getting 9.5, and you can see that these guys, they're going to cut down. Instead of being 57 months, now he's down to 53. This one was 53, it's down to 49. I don't remember, I think this was at 72. So you can see it actually has quite a big impact on what you'll get and how quickly you'll get it. So we did kind of go over the energy credits. They're just basically the cash of this game. Minerals are how you build things. So we'll go back to our home planet, which by the way is the number 1, or on the bottom here, this is the home planet. So home planet, you can see, oh, you've got all of this stuff with this box around it. You can't build anything on there until you clear the box out. So let's say we clear all of these, whatever, we'll spend some of that money that we've collected, well, given ourselves. The other thing is minerals. Minerals, you need them to build things. So, I told you earlier, we got one science ship. One science ship is not enough. So we'll go to the spaceport. You can see in the spaceport, there are science ships, there are construction ships, there are colony ships. Construction allows you to build things inside places you own. Science allows you to explore the universe. Colony allows you to settle new ships. Pretty straightforward stuff there. We're going to build a couple of science ships. And that way we'll get that started. Alright, so we've already got one science ship, one construction ship. We ordered our science ship. He's gone down here. And we click survey. Survey explores the system. I know they have explore. Explore just gets you to the system. After that it stops. It doesn't do any more. So we'll have that guy do that. And that. Now, our construction ship, he is, oops, sorry, wrong key, my apologies. He is inside here. This guy right here, he's got the little wrench and the screwdriver there. He is going to build stuff inside this system. So you'll click on him and then you can right click on anything you want to do. So let's say build a mining station. That'll increase our mineral increase, or input. That one there. And then lastly, we'll build a research. Now, when you're looking under here, and there's a little tick box here. If this tick box is off, make sure it's on, because it actually displays things that you've already built on. You can see there are green and white numbers. Green is stuff we've already built. White is stuff that we still have left to build. So that's what I just ordered him to build, is build this energy, build this mineral, build this engineering research. So that'll be, he'll go do. The last thing in here is our military base. So you can see here it's like, hey, you've got this little military base. It's got a military power of 400. Yay. Inside it you have a shipyard, which allows you to build ships. And then you have module slots, like crew quarters, for example. They all give you benefits and you can build them as you go. So like say for example, we could build any one of these things to increase stuff. Again, all of this stuff costs money. So you can upgrade them. That's down the line when you research the technology for a star hold. But I mean, that gives you kind of an idea as far as that's concerned. You can also build platforms on here. So you could see like a defensive platform and add to the defense capability of your military power. And then lastly, you have the shipyard that allows you to build ships. Right now you can see I only have corvettes. They're the base item or base warship in the game. They're pretty small, they're pretty weak. As you can see, I only have 114 energy. So I could build a bunch of those and try to make my fleet a little stronger. So I'll build 5 of them, whatever, no big deal. Alright, so we've gone through here. You can see I've spent about 600 energy. I've spent 1,200 minerals. I've barely scratched the surface of what I could spend in minerals. My food is growing a little bit, 3 at a turn. There's my influence. The other thing you'll need influence for is when you expand. We'll actually get to that here. And then you've got this unity, which I also put in there. Unity allows you to unlock traditions for your fledgling empire. So we'll say, for example, unlock here expansion. It allows colony development speed, and you finish the entirety of it, so it's 6 for each one. It allows you to increase your core sectors, which are these guys up here. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll just pop through these real fast. You can see my 1,000 didn't get me that far. So we'll do a little more unity. Okay, so let me finish this one off. So I finished the expansion tree. Yay! It gives me now the 2 additional core sectors, so I'm now at 5. And you can see there, it gives me all of these things there and that I added. And it also gives me what they call an ascension perk. So you get to pick out of all of these things. So like, for example, this one, oh, it allows technology to increase. I'll take that. So it makes that nice little sound effect. And now when I again look at here, now we're at 42%. As opposed to the original 22 we were at. So you can see they cut down on the months again. This guy's down to 49, that guy's down to 46, etc., etc. So I believe we've explained most of the stuff you'll need. Where am I anyway? Oh, okay, about 7 o'clock there. Over here you have your naval capacity. These are going to be the last few things that I explain. And I will then kind of let the game play for a little bit to kind of go over a couple other things before I let this one come to an end. So anyway, naval capacity, this is the number of ships you can build. Okay, so you can see I've got 3 built out of 23. It's based off of, you always start with 20, and then you get a 15% bump from your citizen service. You will have unlocked technologies that will increase it. You do have to stay around this capacity. So if I built 27 ships, anything above my max, so 23, I start having to pay a penalty for. The other thing you have to worry about is fleet size. Fleet size, you can only build up to the maximum number that your fleet can hold. So right now, as you can see, it's 20, not that many. So in order to build 27, for example, I would have to build a fleet of 20 and then another fleet of 7. So I'd have multiple fleets. It doesn't really affect you or negatively impact you to have multiple fleets. Normally it's a good thing, but just so that way you kind of know what you're looking at here. So that's there. I have star bases. Right now I just have the one on my home planet. These are strategic resources. We haven't found any yet because we haven't started the game. And then again I have my hotkeys here and here. This is the home planet. Again, you have your spaceport to build things that you'll need around the civilization and like construction, that sort of stuff. Then you have your armies. We'll get into armies a little later. Basically, you get defensive armies automatically whenever you settle a place. You don't need any assaulting armies, but when you build assaulting armies, they can be used to help defense. They also can be used to take over places. So we'll get to that in a while too. The surface, again, there it is right there. You have all of these spaces that you can build stuff on. Some of them have stuff, some of them are empty. The empty ones give you an opportunity to build a different sort of thing, like a stronghold, for example, that will add more defensive armies, etc. And then there's other things you can build in there too, like this monument, which helps produce more unity. That is the oh, I forgot one more thing. Planet summary, as you can see, I don't have a governor in charge right now because I fired my last one. He was no good. We're going to put this guy, Vibring Den Sabir, in there. So now he's the governor, so when I click on it, you can see here's the bonuses that he provides. There it is. Yay, good job. Then the last thing I wanted to show you is we have these little other hotkeys. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The F keys are on the top, but the 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I hit 2, this is my fleet. You can see I do not currently have a leader assigned to it. Fleets are led by admirals. So you wanted to select somebody who does your preferred weapons. So I have energy. This guy's not really all that helpful, but we'll hire him anyway. So you can see it does help your fleet. It will increase the military power, and it will help them when they're fighting because they give an increased damage and attack speed to you. So there's that. Number 3 is your science ship. As you can see, it'll automatically load that science ship. Number 4 is your construction ship. So it'll tell you where those guys are. You also have this handy little outliner over here. It does come with all the information. You can choose what you want and what you don't, where it's located. So for example, at the beginning of the game, I don't need to know where my fleets are because I'm not doing anything with them. So I'm going to minimize that. I'm also going to minimize the shipyard because, again, I don't need it really. I'm just going to leave that there. I do want to know what my home planet's doing. I do want to see what my civilian ships are doing. Those are very important. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this. I'm also going to speed it up. So it's on the fastest. So you're going to watch these guys and they'll move pretty quick as they're going through stuff. So you can see the construction ship. It normally takes a long time to build things when it's at this speed. But if you speed it up, boop, 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 boom, and you can see we got one of our science ships. So again, build a science ship. Hey, he's ready to go. He needs a leader. So we'll go ahead and go through here, choose a leader. Why did I hold on to you? Goodbye. Let's see. This guy's 36. So we'll have this guy start going this way with the exploration. And again, we'll unpause. And once it builds that next science ship, which shouldn't be too long, we will pause again.
Construction complete.
So you can see, completed another science ship. We need another leader. Let's get him going. We'll have him go up here and start exploring this way. And just for the heck of it, we'll build another science ship because I have another leader already hired, so we'll do that. Now, as you can see, as they get to places and start exploring them, they have this grayed out name. That means you've been there, but you haven't finished exploring it.
Complete.
So, as we finish exploring it, we'll have this guy go this way, maybe? Yeah, we'll have him go this way. Oopsie, that's not what I wanted. Alright. So that'll kind of give you just the basics there as far as the UI. So for example, I was telling you earlier that you're going to get things. This is an event chain.
Situation
log pause that.
Updated.
It'll tell you, hey, you got something in your situation log. We're in the victory tab. Oh, I don't want to be there. Anomalies. We haven't had any of those yet, but you got something in your situation. They want you to collect these artifacts. So you'll go around as you explore, you'll find them. When you find them, it'll say, hey, you should go collect these. Now you can see we found a couple of worlds here. Not any of them that are really all that good for us. You pick your world as you're setting up your race. Our world is a Savannah world. So that's what we're looking for as we explore this galaxy, is Savannah worlds. So you'll spend most of your time in this map. Yep, there's a Savannah world. So you can see he's going to uncover that one, and once he does, it'll tell us how many or what value of it is. So we'll kind of go over that real fast as soon as we get to that
Construction
point.
complete.
Yep, the starbase is done. Our governor gained a level. So now he's level 2. He can go to... I know he can go above 5, so I'm not sure why it says that. So that is a little pop-up there. And our shipyard is done. Okay, so what that did is that was our 8 ships. So you can see them all there. They got some interesting names. You can rename things as you like. So for example, if you wanted to make this one the Tinkle Ferry. Now that guy's flying around on the Tinkle Ferry. So that's just some of the things you can do with it. We'll let them do still some more. Whoopsie, I don't want that. I want this guy. You can click on ships through here, but if you have multiple the same, they'll
System
both get the
survey
same
complete.
order. So that guy's done with this survey. You can see now it went to a white name. Underneath it, that's all of the resources in there. It's just energy, which is okay. We need that too. So we're going to take our construction ship, who is almost done. He's got about 7% left. And if you right-click on here, you'll notice you have something called Build a Starbase Outpost. It costs influence to do that. Kind of a pain in the butt, but it's there. So we're going to do that. So it's 100 minerals, and it's 67 influence. And then once he's done, it'll let me expand into here and build into these 4 energies. It's a Savannah world. Nice. So you can see here, all right, he's done. I can click on it. You notice how it's green. Green indicates it's good for you, that it's a high chance of survival there, 80%. So you can see there's the planet. It's actually pretty nice. I'm sorry, I'm going to pause this real fast. So it shows you everything that's on that planet, what you can build on there. Some of these are good and some of them are bad in that, like, for example, this one has 2 energy credit and 2 minerals. If I build a mineral thing on there, I won't collect the energy. If I build an energy, I won't collect the minerals. So you have to make a choice when you have multiple planets like that. So just kind of something to do. The other thing is this has an asteroid belt on it, so which means if you build minerals on there, you'll get another 10% bump to what you get for your minerals from there. Sorry, I'm running out of water here. Give me a second. There we go. So that's kind of the basics there. One of my scientists got to a level 2. That's great. That means he'll survey faster. It tells you every time there's a system survey done with that little system survey complete thing, and it's like, oh,
anomaly
nice.
found.
All right, so we found our first anomaly. This one is a level... let's see. Sorry, it should tell me there somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. It's a level 4? Yeah, it's a level 4. My guy's a level 2. So he's going to have a hard time with it. It's going to take him 300 days to get through that research. So we can do that if we were so inclined. Get that research. It'll take 300 days, and then all I have to do is click research. Or I can leave it be for now. So for example, he's a level 2. I don't think it's all that efficient for him to be doing it. I'm going to leave it alone. It'll sit here telling me there's a level 4 anomaly in this system until I send someone back to
Tile blocker
get it
cleared.
So, all right. Oh, hang on. Okay. So we got our starbase. Somebody found another anomaly. This one's not so bad. It is actually 180 days. So we'll let that one go. He can go ahead and get this level 2 here in Ramia. We got the tile blocker cleared. So that guy got to level 2. We can, you can clear these away by right-clicking on them, or if you just let them be, they will eventually disappear on their own. Then you have this guy. He finished building. So when he's finished building, you can do this manually, or you can just right-click on the system and have him do everything. Those are the 2 options. So kind of just to give you a heads up. Normally I like to do that where once he's done, the other thing you can do is you can stack orders. And I'm sorry, I did this earlier with my research guys and I didn't say anything, and I apologize. So let's say this guy, he is surveying here, and I want him, after he's done, to survey this one. I hold shift, right click on there, survey. He will then bounce over and survey, and you'll see here on his orders, now he has +5. And then let's say I want him to come back here and survey this one. When he clicks on it, his orders increase. So now he's got increased number of orders, or at least he should. Apparently it's not working today. Oh, never mind, I know what it is. It's because he doesn't know how many things are in there. He can't tell me how many more orders. But you can see now he has this yellow line. It'll stack those orders, and he'll do them in the order that I tell him to. It is both a plus and a minus that this happens. For example, when we're building this, if I said, hey, I want you to build out everything that's in here, okay? I want you to do all the energy, I want you to do all the minerals, I want you to do all of the research. He won't necessarily do it in the order that makes sense. He'll do it sometimes where you'll see him and he'll go here and here and then here, then here, then here. It's like, who would do that? Logically, you should go from here, go, what's the next closest? How do I stay in a line? But he doesn't necessarily do that. So just as a heads up, if you're playing this and you're like, hey, I want them to just do their thing, they'll do it, but it may not be in the order that you would choose. So sometimes it is more beneficial to choose the order yourself. So that's kind of the basics there. I hope you enjoyed the video.
Found.
That can go away for now. And I will see you guys out there. All right. Thank you.